Hey guys, a couple years ago I made a video about why I started tutoring at GoStudent and what that was like, but I have actually since then left GoStudent. Since I've left, I started up my own business and I am fully tutoring through my own business now. So in this video I'm going to tell you why I left GoStudent and why I started tutoring through my own business. Why did I actually start with GoStudent? I initially really liked tutoring for GoStudent. It's really easy to start up because the students just come to you. They were arranged to have a test lesson with you and you didn't have to go looking for students. The platform handled all the communication and all the invoicing, which is really nice. Students could get a free trial lesson, whereas I would still get paid if I gave that lesson. And there were bonuses within the GoStudent platform, and it gave you a feeling and a sense of wanting to achieve something to reach that bonus. And finally, if you got sick, there was a whole team ready to jump in for you if needed. So if that's the case, why did I leave GoStudent? It's actually very easy. Throughout the time that I was there, multiple things changed and there were things that I noticed that just weren't a good fit with me anymore. To start off, it was the pay and bonus system. I felt like students and therefore their parents had to pay a lot, whereas I got paid very little, which was great as a startup, but the more years I did it, the more I would have liked to earn, and there was no way of leveling up within GoStudent. The old bonus system that was there when I started was really motivating, but after a while you've capped out all the bonuses that you could have gotten, and then there are no more bonuses for you to achieve. At the end of my GoStudent adventure, they did introduce a new bonus system so that wouldn't be the case anymore. However, I really didn't like the new bonus system. With the new bonus system, you earned a little more based on how many students and sessions you had, but overall it still didn't feel like I was earning the amount that I would have wanted. And for newer tutors, I felt really bad that they never got the chance to have the old bonus system there anymore, because I really liked it, although it was capped at a maximum. Then there were some technical and platform issues that just didn't really work with me. When I started out with GoStudent, they had the sessions through Zoom, which I really loved. Zoom has so much flexibility and many features that I used in my tutoring session, from taking over their screen to using the chat to writing on their screen. It was just so useful. But at some point they started their own platform, which just really wasn't that intuitive, and I hated using it. The platform that they created made it so that I couldn't take over their screen anymore. If they're screen sharing, then they have to do everything themselves, and especially with younger students that don't know how a computer works, that's just really hard to explain. Can you imagine trying to tell a 7-year-old to press on the button that says a certain word when they've just started reading? It's just really hard, and not always are the parents there, especially not if it's the 20th or 30th session. The third issue that I had was with the policy that they had. With GoStudent, they really emphasize the subscription that you have. As far as I know, you talk about a subscription that you want to get, and it's an X amount of sessions per month. But what that did was the parents had to pay a certain amount for those amounts of sessions a month. But throughout the summer, no one will have a session, especially high school students, because there's no homework, there are no exams to study for. So those weren't necessary. In those months, you need less sessions, but the parents still paid for it. And if I, as a tutor, didn't schedule in the session, then I, of course, wouldn't get paid because I didn't actually do a session, but the parents still had to pay for those amounts of sessions, as that is their subscription. I felt that was just really unfair for both me and the parents. And then finally, what I didn't like was that toward the end of my time with GoStudent, they also created a new app. In that app, you could have all the communication with the parents and the tutors and the students, which was great. Although I, as a tutor, will of course download an extra app because it's my work. But for parents or students, it was very unuseful to download yet another app because they already have their school apps and their own apps. And to have another app, especially because it was just for communicating, it was just too much. And I didn't really like it. Everyone already has WhatsApp, it's free, so why not just use that? Those reasons are the reasons why it didn't work with GoStudent. But why did I then start doing it by myself? Well, I really did still like tutoring. I love tutoring. It's one of my main jobs that I currently do, and it's definitely a huge passion of mine. There are certain things that I changed around when I started my own business to hopefully make it better for both the parents and me. First of all, I just wanted more freedom and control. I wanted to be able to decide what the rules were, on what terms I was tutoring, what platform I was using, and the way I was communicating with parents. Because of course there are many rules as a company that you have to enforce for both parents and tutors. I just didn't like it. I wanted more freedom. So that's one of the first reasons why I went and started for myself. The second reason was that one of the rules that was enforced by GoStudent, which I also totally understand as a business perspective, was that you as a tutor were not allowed to communicate with the parents or the students outside of tutoring sessions, which to a certain extent I totally agree with, but I do have students that I've met up with in person from my current business that I really enjoy being with. It creates a connection of trust and they feel more connected to me, feel more free to tell me about their lives, which just makes this whole tutoring situation a lot nicer. I like to have a more personal connection and a more personal touch when I tutor, and so allowing the students and the parents to just talk to me, even if it's outside of tutoring sessions or not about a tutoring subject, just created a deeper connection that I really enjoy having with my students and my parents. The third reason I really wanted to tutor by myself is so that I could offer the subjects that I am passionate about tutoring. I mainly focus on maths because I know for a fact that I can explain it in a way that the student will understand. I really like going into a student's mind and figuring out how they understand it so that I can come in and explain it from their perspective. That's something I've always enjoyed doing. I have been doing it since I was in high school myself, and I didn't want to necessarily do all the other subjects, but with GoStudent you needed to have a minimum of 3 subjects, if I am correct. I now focus mainly on maths. I also give homework guidance and homework planning, and then for some students I've also done economics and business economics. I really love just focusing on the subjects that I know for a fact that I can do well, because it's no fun for any of us if I am not qualified to give the tutoring session if you're paying good money for a session. The fourth thing that I changed when I started my own business is the way payment is done. So the amount of sessions do decide the price that you pay, but you can change them weekly. You just have to tell me in advance and then I will adjust it accordingly. That way the families never have to pay for a session that they're not using. And so for example, in a break there are no sessions. That's fine. It's something I know. It's something I chose to do, but I just don't like having to charge parents for a tutoring session that they're not going to use. So I'd rather have them be able to switch it out weekly. It's totally fine, and I really like giving the parents the flexibility to adjust the amount of sessions that they need. Of course, another thing that I really enjoy about going into business for myself is that I keep 100% of what I earn. Are there still things I miss about GoStudent? Of course there are. I have to go looking for my students myself. They don't come to me automatically. Students do eventually finish school, so I don't have a promise of the amount of students that I have at any point. They can quit at any point for whatever reason they want. So that's a bit of a hassle, but I feel like I'm coming to a point where I have the amount of students that I'm really comfortable with and I really like all of them. Of course, I sometimes miss that there's no admin for me to do my invoicing, but on the other hand, as a tutor for GoStudent, I had to check whether the amount of sessions they had recorded were actually correct and that I didn't have more sessions. So I still had to check and do all the work, but now there's no extra person involved in the process. And of course, the last thing that I do miss about GoStudent is the ability to give parents a trial lesson. I don't actually do this as a self-employed business. I just cannot afford giving free trial lessons. So, in conclusion, I do think GoStudent was definitely the right start for me. I learned a lot from that, but I am so grateful I get to do it through my own business now. I have so much more flexibility, so much more freedom, and way deeper relationships with every single student that I really enjoy. If you are a tutor and you're thinking about going independent, I know it can be scary, but trust me, it's absolutely worth it. If you're interested in what I use for my own tutoring business and the platforms I use and the way I do my business, then definitely stay tuned because I'm planning on making a video about it. If you do have any questions in the meantime, definitely let me know down below, and I hope to see you next time. Bye guys!